Another Saturday night of soccer in downtown Indianapolis, and for the second Saturday in a row, one of the best teams in the eastern half of the USL Championship makes their way to Carroll Stadium and the campus of IUPUI. It's the Indy 11 and the Tampa Bay Rowdies, a rivalry that goes back to, well, the second match ever played for the Indy 11 in April of 2014. Alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw with you. Thank you so much for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer tonight on Wish TV, as well as on ESPN+. Talk about last week's match and the tremendously high-quality side Indy is playing coming up in a matter of moments. But first things first, more roster moves early this week for the Indy 11. One loan swap, another player loaned to the Indy 11. So two new faces, one exiting. We'll focus on the two guys that are new to the Indy 11. Jesus Vasquez will be in the starting lineup tonight. Wilfredo Rivera, young man that is 18 years of age, on loan from Orlando City. What's the impact that you expect from each of these two players?
Well, I think there's two impacts. One with Vasquez, much leadership, captain for about 3 different years, so not just experience but some leadership on the back line. For Rivera, you've got a guy, he's 18 years old, but he signed back in 2020. He's been a pro for a couple years.
Again, he's a guy that spent some time with Raul Aguilera, so there is a sense of those two knowing each other from their days together with Orlando City. As part of the loan agreement to get Jesus Vasquez to Indianapolis, Jonas Fjellberg heads back to RGV where he played last year. We wish Jonas nothing but the best for the rest of this season. Now, let's go back 7 days. Let's talk about something that we hadn't seen since June 18th for the Indy 11, and that is a goal, and it was a notable one for Solomon Asante, his 50th regular season goal in USL Championship play, his first since joining the Indy 11 back in the month of May.
Well, I'll tell you one of the things with this that is impressive. You know, goal scorers score goals that you don't normally see. Here's one, his hips are not square to goal. He's kind of moving away from goal, and I think that's what catches everybody from Memphis by surprise is he pulls the trigger when he shouldn't.
Now, from an injury standpoint tonight, he's going to be out on an island from a forward standpoint. The injury bug has bit the Indy 11 up top, so seeing more of that from Solomon Asante is going to be required. On the other end of the pitch for the Indy 11, how about the debut performance of Sean Lewis? He made 6 saves in the first half, 7 in his debut performance. He split time with 2 different teams so far this year, Brad. He's still in the top 10 in terms of saves made in USL Championship play.
Incredible start to his Indy 11 career here, and then it was like 3 minutes in, he has to make an unbelievable save just to keep Memphis off the board.
And Sean will be the starter tonight in goal for the Indy 11. The rest of those starters, we'll tell you back when we come back from this quick timeout. And let's acknowledge that the 2-time Eastern Conference defending champions are in the building, the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and oh yes, these 2 teams completed a trade with each other the week before. Juan Tejada now on the Indy 11. Nicky Law now part of the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Storylines aplenty in this one. Back with starting lineups and opening kickoff. And it comes your way next as you're watching Indy 11 Soccer here on Wish TV. Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. And by Community Health Network, exceptional care simply delivered. Let's get right to our starting lineups. They are presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. And again, the story for the Indy 11, Mark Lowry has the players he wants in terms of playing his style, his shape, the 4-4-2 diamond. problem is there's no Manuel Arteaga, no Stefano Pino, no Ari Spriggs. You just loaned out Jonas Fjellberg. You're going to have a team that has a lot of midfielders going forward tonight for the boys in blue.
It's crazy when things like that happen. So, you loan out Wimet to Detroit City at the same time that you're struggling to find guys to fill in the back line. Here is a perfect opportunity for Fjellberg, but that conversation started before the 2 injuries that we've got with Pino and Arteaga.
It is an embarrassment of riches up top for Neil Collins with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Sebastian Guenzati is one of the best scorers this league has ever seen. He's largely been coming off the bench this year. He is in the starting lineup tonight. We thank you for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer here on Wish TV and ESPN Plus. It is the first time the Tampa Bay Rowdies have played in this building since Labor Day weekend of 2016. It is great to have them back here. And in case there's any problem with the lights, which are largely new here at Carroll Stadium, I'm sure the glow off the Volt uniforms of the Tampa Bay Rowdies will help to serve to enlighten us in our broadcast today. Lawrence Wyke, like it was a training exercise, avoiding Juan Tejada. Juan was a guest of ours on Soccer Saturday this week, and he said, hey, I love those guys, but I'm going to war against them tonight. He was looking forward to the challenge of playing his old teammates after spending the first 3.5 years of his pro career playing for Tampa Bay.
And you like the way this first minute unfolded. Indy on the front foot, pressing every back pass, making it difficult to build. Let's see how long they can maintain that energy.
So Solomon Asante's distribution effort was blocked. But then quickly recycles the teammate Jared Timmer. With that, let's get to the keys this match. They are brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11.
Yeah, for the 11, somebody's got to put gas in the tank. This season is running close to empty right now. Somebody in that locker room has got to put the team on their back and say, I got it from this point. You thought Nicky Law was kind of that consistent. He's going to be on the field tonight. He's just in the wrong colors. The other thing is they've got to be quicker in transition. You can't pace yourself. You can't put your foot on the ball, slow it down, and just have possession. It's got to be quicker in transition. For Tampa Bay, they come into opposing cities and they raid the place. It's like they own every stadium in the USL. They've only lost 1 time on the road. They're better on the road than at home. They've got to keep that visitor mentality up. And then Memphis may have unlocked a couple of keys for teams in the league. It's lightning quick transitions at the top of the box.
LaCava gives it a hit. Lewis in the proper position.
And you take a look at how Memphis was able to, ticky-tack around the top of the box and create opportunities with these quick give and goes. And if it wasn't for the crossbar, wasn't for the post, wasn't for a couple of great saves by Sean Lewis, that game could have got out of control.
Tampa Bay on the front foot so far in this one. Time for injury report brought to us by Community Health Network Sports Medicine, the official sports medicine partner of the Indy 11. And again, it is an injury report that has once again grown. Dos Santos is onside. Hackshaw able to knock it away from Steven Dos Santos. Again, Stefano Pino, we don't think it's a long-term injury. There's a chance he is back for the match against Pittsburgh next week. Ari Spriggs back on the injury report with that shin. He's been battling shin splints all season. It could be long-term in terms of Aris at this point. And again, Brian Meredith still technically on loan to the Indy 11, but you do the math. Tim Trilk and Sean Lewis have both spent time in goal. I would imagine Brian's time with the Indy 11 likely has come to an end.
Yeah, as a keeper, you can do footwork. You can stay sharp in that respect. You can keep yourself fit with a break in the hand, but the reps that you need to keep your hand sharp are every day, a couple of 100 touches, and he's going to be missing those. So it's not just, hey, when the cast comes off and you're cleared. You've got to get that rhythm back.
Ioze knocked to the turf by Sebastian Dalgard. Of course, Ioze is going to see a couple of former teammates on the field tonight, one of them in very close proximity. He and Sebastian Guenzati played together with the New York Cosmos. Lucky M. Kosana, who we assume we'll see off the bench for the Rowdies as well.
And those teams were fun to watch.
Yes, they were. Tonight, Ioze appearing in his 114th match in an Indy 11 uniform. The next time he suits up for Indy, he'll tie the franchise record. Guenzati the takeaway, and then Jerome on the clearance to knock the ball the other end, inadvertently put a boot in the back of the head of the oncoming Tampa Bay Rowdies player. And the trainer is being waved on.
I got to tell you, I don't understand the play by Guenzati there.
Right, he had a wide open path.
He picks the ball from Vasquez. You've got a goal scorer. You've got nothing but green space in front of you. Take a couple touches, see if you can get some more separation from the defender, and have a go yourself.
For Sebastian, that might be acknowledgement of his age in terms of just raw speed, being able to separate for an offender at that point. He's appeared in every match but one this season. This is just his 10th start. Again, we saw him for many years playing for the New York Cosmos. He and Leo Fernandez available for selection off the bench tonight from the Tampa Bay Rowdies perspective as well. They are guys that have now played all 6 seasons that Tampa Bay has been in the USL Championship.
You know, I mean, and 2 great players, 2 great goal scorers, and you have that kind of consistency between them where they understand the pace, they understand the creativity that each one has, and you can play off of each other. You look at that kind of roster consistency, you don't see it that often. You get a little bit of it in Pittsburgh, you get a little bit of it with Lou City, you get it with Tampa Bay.
Louisville has been the one that has been most famous for it. You know, seemingly the transition from James O'Connor to John Hackworth and now to Danny Cruz in terms of guys that have been there for 6 and 7 years. But it's remarkable the job that Neil Collins has done in Tampa Bay, because seemingly every player on this roster, you're talking about multiple years spent here with the Rowdies.
Right, and it's got to be so difficult to try and lure a player into Tampa Bay.
And you look at Neil Collins, gentleman that spent time with Sheffield United, Preston North End, Wolverhampton, Hartlepool United in his playing days, then finished his playing days with the Tampa Bay Rowdies and literally went straight from playing to being the coach of the Rowdies in May of 2018. It is Steven Dos Santos who is the player that, again, received the inadvertent boot into the back of the head from Meshach Jerome.
You take a look at that difficulty of moving from the player roster to the coaching staff roster. And one of the things that's so tough in that transition is everybody on the team that was a teammate of you as a player knows if you cut corners, know when you kind of mailed it in a little bit. And it's really difficult to go into a leadership position if you have that in your resume. So to move from that player to the coaching position speaks volumes to how he carried himself around this organization as a player.
And again, there are guys that played with him as a teammate that are still playing for him in the coach-player relationship now. There's Meshach Jerome. Jerome, of course, made the move from El Paso with Coach Lowry, as did Brian Rebillon again. Another miscue in the midfield by the Indy 11. Jesus Vasquez quickly there to sweep it away. And what is it like for Jesus? Again, the trade was made official on Monday, and he's already starting here in his first match with his new team.
Yeah, it's difficult, different voice. You know, you may have some experience watching Sean Lewis because you're in the West for a little bit. A different voice, different range. So you're just trying to get all those things worked out. You've only had a couple of days of training to get it figured out. So you're learning it real time.
Offside flag goes up against Steven Dos Santos on the effort. That's been forward by Nicky Law. This match brought to us by Keystone Construction. It's more than construction, Keystone. We build a vision. And these two teams met in the second weekend of the season. Back on March 19th, it was a 2-0 defeat for the Indy 11 at Al Lang Stadium. It was their first trip there since 2019 for the boys in blue. And in that match, goal was scored by Juan Tejada for Tampa Bay. Of course, now he is wearing the checkers in blue in his second match in an Indy 11 uniform. Asante the target. Aaron Guillen keeps him away from it. We first saw Guillen playing for North Carolina FC. He's been a mainstay for Tampa Bay since making the move south. Good hustle by Justin Ingram. Great to see Justin back in the lineup for Indy. He missed his first match of the season last week. The Pike High School graduate and Indianapolis native picked up an illness late in the week. Good to see him back out there. Here's Wyke. A little too much on that one. Dos Santos appreciates the effort to try to find him in good form. Here's Hackshaw. Sports this match presented by Bet Rivers, the official sports betting partner of the Indy 11. Bet with a winner. Let's talk about Neviel Hackshaw for a moment, because now as Nicky Law read where the pass was going and stepped in front of him. We'll finish that thought on Neville in a matter of moments. Here's Law with the service. Vasquez got in the way. It'll be a corner, though, for the Rowdies in minute number 10. I think Nicky Law had an idea where that ball was supposed to go.
It looked like, hey, I've seen this in training. Neville might not finish that check-in run. I'm going to step in.
Nicky was absolute pure class for the year and a half he spent with the Indy 11. We wish him nothing but the best with the Rowdies. Five different options to choose from. Curling ball in. Vasquez got in the way. Didn't exactly clear it the way he wanted to. Lewis goes to the turf, and enough of a bump there that this takes a whistle from our match referee, Joshua Encarnacion. Of course, this match brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. It was a combination of Guenzati and LaCava, who were deemed to be a bit too aggressive as Lewis was trying to carve out some space. Extra ball on the field, and Sean will get his steps in to go clear that one out of harm's way. Native of Rockford, Michigan, with FC Tulsa. And lost the starter's spot to Austin Warmel in Tulsa. And he traded Noah Powder for his services. This is the second opportunity for Sean to play with a Mark Lowry coach team. He played with Mark back in 2016 with the Jacksonville Armada. Ingram, a flick that finds Raul Aguilera. And deflected off of Lawrence White by Sebastian Dalgo. Io with the throw-in. The next time Io plays for the Indy 11, he'll tie Brad Ring for most appearances in club history with 115. And the proper authorities have alerted Mr. Ring that you might want to be at the match next Saturday. Asante, charging forward, has three options to his left. Tried to play it through Nicky Law, and it results in a throw-in coming to be taken by Jared Timmer.
You look, whenever that ball's played around the Indy 11 back line, Coach Collins is encouraging his front and his midfield. Get up, get up, get up, press them, make it difficult.
Well, they are eager to fire at goal, are the Tampa Bay Rowdies. They are averaging over 19 shots per game. They took 28 last week, and they are on pace to break the league record for shots in a season of over 600. So early and often is the motto for this Tampa Bay Rowdies squad. LaCava plays it across, and it'll be the second corner of the match coming up here for Tampa Bay.
I'll tell you, that was interesting too. As LaCava's coming in, you've got Dos Santos that makes this checking run to the front post. He draws three defenders inside the six with him. Guenzati sees the run, slows his up to provide an option right around the 12, and they just couldn't connect it.
It is Lewis Hilton that is heading to the corner flag. His 7th year in the championship, 3rd with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. He has 27 career assists at this level. Number 28 right here. Steers it in. Hackshaw wins it. Law and Asante battle for it. And here's the opportunity. Aguilera charging forward. Well done by Nicky Law. You would expect nothing less from him. Recycled quickly by the Rowdies. LaCava timed the run. The sliding effort by Jerome. This will be a throw-in coming for the Indy 11, deflected off an oncoming Tampa Bay player.
Great tackle. They have not lost since April.
Correct.
They've been shut out once this year.
Right.
So you can see how this game is tilting already in this direction. Indy's going to have to try and catch them on a counter, catch them in transition, catch them on a restart.
There's a reason why they've won the Eastern Conference each of the last 2 years. Lost to Orange County in the championship match on their home surface last November, as Law whistled for the foul against Alex McQueen. Nicky, the leader in minutes played for the Indy 11 a season ago. A goal and 4 assists for Nicky in his 2nd season in the USL Championship. Here's C.J. Cochran. Cochran is technically on loan from OKC Energy, I use that phrase because Energy aren't playing this year, but technically he's under contract to them. So he replaced Evan Laura, who did a fantastic job in goal for the Rowdies a season ago. Remember, Tampa Bay had a streak of, well, like 2 months where they didn't give up a goal last year. Cochran has been outstanding, but frankly, not that many shots get to him. They are always playing in the forward half of the field, and the defenders in front of him are so solid. CJ is rarely tested at this point for the Rowdies.
Well, I love the 3-back. You know, when you're playing with 3 backs, you've got this opportunity to move a player higher up the field. And as you move that player higher up the field, you're going to put him in the midfield or you're going to put him up front. And what that allows you to do is press and dictate the game higher up the pitch than in the back line. So you can hear Coach Collins screaming every time the ball is in Indy 11's defensive third, higher, higher, higher. He wants that pressure higher. And you look at the response from Indy right now, and it's turnovers and it's long direct balls over that back line that they're hoping that they can connect.
And Nicky Law, well, maybe the soccer-style Festivus airing of the grievances towards Alex McQueen. Maybe those guys had a negative word at some point, because Nicky gets shown a yellow in his return home in minute number 16.
Oh, I love the Festivus reference. That's fantastic. We actually have an official Festivus poll. We used to celebrate it every year.
You know, as July temperatures go, it kind of feels like December 23rd a little bit. Relatively cool here in Indianapolis tonight. You know, Collins perplexed by the call. Ingram with the giveaway that Lawrence Wyke quickly takes back. By the way, this match presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Exceptional care simply delivered. Aguilera to Asante. Aguilera charging forward. Timmer makes an overlapping run. Asante's ball, Aguilera got to it. Tejada tried to dig in and just couldn't get to it in time. And then an injured Tampa Bay player behind the play. It's Jake Armand. It is the player that, I'm not sure exactly where the injury occurred. Almost a 3-car pileup going for that ball at the edge of the 6. We'll take a look here. As Armand the worse for wear. Tejada inadvertently took him down in the effort to go pick that one up and score a goal against his former team.
What a ball from Aguilera. And for a moment there, it looked like that ball was gonna run out, be a goal kick. He chases it down. Tejada's making that streaking run to the near post. He finds him.
I'm not sure on the old turf that wouldn't have run out, but on the new surface that is still less than a month old, that ball checked up and gave Tejada a chance to use his fantastic speed. Cannot tell you how much I enjoyed talking to Juan for the first time on Soccer Saturday this week. He was very excited about being in Indianapolis, and really he spent pretty much the last decade of his life in Florida after moving to the States from Panama. Wasn't sure if he was looking forward to the cold weather of the fall just yet, but relishing the opportunity to be someplace new in Indianapolis.
You got plenty of time. This acclimatization period from July to August to September, it's a gradual creep into the fall temperatures.
Well, since we're chatting up Soccer Saturday, this reminder, fans, you can log on and listen to it anytime in podcast form at 1075thefan.com or anchor.fm/Indy-11. This week on the program, Jesus Vasquez was not a guest. We talked about him, but he was not a guest on the show. Sean Lewis, Solomon Asante, you even made a couple of appearances on the program. Yeah. We lifted
I thought it was just a simulator.
We lifted audio from the postgame show in which you asked tremendously intelligent questions, as you often do. Now, speaking of intelligent questions, you always have some trivia questions you like to work in during the course of a match, connecting the markets of Indy/Tampa, St. Petersburg. If you wouldn't mind, question number 1, fire away.
Yeah, so this is actually question 12, because we did 11 of them pregame.
The not ready for prime time questions, yes.
So here's the first one. This one is so easy, I don't even think I need to get the question completely out.
Okay.
This gentleman.
Stop it, gentlemen, huh?
Right.
That's all you've got, huh? By the way, it looks like Jake Armand clearly, unfortunately, is going to be done for the night. Connor Antley, another former Indy 11 player, has already raced to the bench. And so Connor Antley will be joining us momentarily. And let's hope the best for Jake Armand. This was his 16th match of the season, his 12th start. Young man that spent the last 4 years with the Charlotte Independents. Clearly an injury significant enough where he knows his night is done. So Good on you, Jake, and hopefully we see you down the road very soon.
It's tough with an injury. Like, you're making this tackle, you're sliding in there. And
right.
Sometimes it's either a foot-to-foot contact in there, and it's coming from two directions because Cochran's coming in as Tejada's coming in. Sometimes it's the ball that just hits your foot the wrong way, and it rolls it in the wrong direction. Sometimes it gets caught in the turf, but it's one of those ones that as a defender, you've got to sell out. You've got to put your body between the ball and the goal.
While you debate which parts of the trivia question to give me more of, first this from our friends at the USL. The rating title holders visit in-state rivals as the USL on ESPN2 continues. Orange County SC looks for a late season surge against the potential cup holders of the U.S. Open, Sacramento Republic FC. That's Sunday, September the 18th at 5 o'clock on ESPN2. All right, hit me with
Give you
a
one
question.
more word. This gentleman coached.
Yes. Coached what? As in Tony Dungy?
Yes.
Hence was the gentleman reference?
Yes, okay. You're 1 for 1 here. You got 3 more coming.
Let's talk about our buddy Connor Antley. Good to see Connor. Connor spent 2020 with the Indy 11. All of our substitutions brought to us by Jiffy Lube. Hate the circumstances where he has to come in this early in the match. Connor, his brother Ian, also a part of the Tampa Bay Rowdies organization this year. Connor was the League One Defender of the Year in 2019 for South Georgia Tormenta. Had a very solid debut season of the championship with Indy in 2020. Ended up with the Tampa Bay Rowdies last year, now his second year of playing for Neil Collins in South Florida.
He's been a great fit for them. I'd say one of the things that we really enjoyed with him is his engine doesn't stop. He just goes and goes and goes.
You know, Connor was great in terms of because, you know, he's a fit here because of the 3-back system, and that is what Indy was playing with Martin Rennie at that time. And Connor was, you know, really the guy that would spell whomever was needed, so to speak, because at that time you had Neville Hackshaw, Patty Barrett, Carl Ouimet, and it tells you something that Connor was good enough that he still played 12 matches, even with 3 guys that were that talented in front of him in 2020.
And the job that he's done in Tampa's been fantastic. You know, he's hardly been out of the lineup.
So as Tampa tries to build quickly, let's mention this for our friends at Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access with Devin Kerr and Mike Watts, Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. You learn matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the SXM app. Had our buddy Mike Watts on the call last night of the Racing Louisville Portland Thorns match in NWSL play on Sirius XM 157. And yes, Premier League football returns 6 days from today, Friday at 3 o'clock, the start of the 2022-2023 Premier League season. Very fitting that I mentioned that as Nicky Law touched the ball, as someone that has briefly spent time playing in the Premier League, and of course the leagues then directly below that. Over 500 matches played in England and Scotland before making his way to the States. Opportunity here. Tejada. Asante. He's got Timmer to his right, which is where the ball goes. Timmer takes one glance, plays it across Aguilera! And the Indy 11 are in front. Raul Aguilera gets the goal. Timmer the assist. 1-0 Indy in minute number 24. It is time to cue the smoke from the Brickyard Battalion.
Great serve by Timmer just to give Indy a chance. Aguilera finds this little gap between 2 of the backs. It drops in there, and he perfectly places it past Cochran.
You and I touched on this kind of in our conversation before the broadcast. Because of the players missing up top, does that give Raul Aguilera a bit more freedom to be more aggressive and get into the attack? And that is exactly what happened. And how about that service from Jared Timmer?
A great serve. You know, in some respects, it's not driven in there. There's a lot of these Volt-colored jerseys in there. It's one of those ones, let me put it in the 6 and just see what happens.
You're saying it was almost like that area was highlighted because of the uniforms?
I was saying that exactly.
As if like it was like highlighted text in a notebook, and that's the part you should read before the test? Sorry, it's what I think of when I see these uniforms.
That's okay. That's quite all right.
Foul against the Rowdies. Timmer will hit the reset button. We have talked about the various positions that Jared Timmer has played, can play for this team. Clearly it appears that Mark Lowry's choice is that, hey, you're going to be the right back of this team going forward. How does that fit Jared's skill set?
Well, the thing that's so surprising about Jared Timmer is his pace. And so when he's on the outside instead of one of those center back roles or in the 6th spot, he's able to get up and down the field. Like, you know, here he is just outside the 18, serving a ball in for an assist. And that pace, after that serve, if that's not in the back of the net, he's back and he's defending that right side of the back four.
Guillen fouled by McQueen. And Nicky Law will hit the reset button momentarily here for the Rowdies. Now look at the foul, and again, you extend that left hand, it's going to be whistled on you every time. Of course, this match brought to us by Keystone Construction. It's more than construction. We build a vision. Here's Nicky Law. Now Hilton. It's White. And Connor Antley with a touch. Ball played across, dangerous ball for Guenzati. As he tried to play through his old teammate Nyoze, and Nyoze worse for wear, as he is down in the 6.
And that's one of the things that Indy needs to stay away from is the immediate response by Tampa. You've got to have this game's got to breathe a little bit. You can't grab a little bit of momentum and then have Tampa Bay come right back and equalize.
And because of that friendship, Guenzati immediately goes over to Ayo and says, hey, my apologies. And you guys were teammates for 4 years with the Cosmos. But then just as noticeable, when Ayo goes down, you see on your screen right there, Jesus Vasquez, who just got here to town, comes up a bit gimpy. And so with that, anybody in a uniform or not sprung to life off the Indy 11 bench. All 7 substitutes are starting to get loose. Coaches are springing into action. Vasquez appears ready to soldier on, same for Ioza.
Yeah, that's one of the things you'd absolutely hate if you're Vasquez, is to have a situation where you're only able to be in here for 20 minutes before an injury gets you.
Ayo temporarily off to the side. He'll have to be waved back on. McGowan Insurance is a proud partner of the Indy 11. Visit MCGOWANIN-SGRP.com for all your insurance needs.
What a touch by Nicky Law.
Santos to Jerome. And Ioze now being waved back on. That was you kind of heard the hubbub coming from the Indy 11 bench. They were not yelling about an offside call. They're like, hey, we'd like to get our 11th guy back on the field, please. Now both sides are on level footing. And Indy led last week against Memphis. That lead evaporated after about 15 minutes. And if you talked with Mark Lowry about last performance, he said, hey, there was some good things. There was still more room for growth. And having more minutes where you felt you're on the front foot than the back foot would be part of that growth. Let's see how the Indy 11 handle success here in the first half against, again, one of the better sides in the USL Championship.
If you're able to take this 1-0 lead into the locker room at halftime, that's a big motivating factor considering where you were last week against Memphis.
For Aguilera, it's his 3rd goal of the season. Dos Santos settles it, tries to find Guenzati. Ingram digs in. He sweeps it outside of the 18. Possession maintained, though, by the Rowdies. What role do you see Nicky Law fulfilling for this Rowdies squad, Brad?
I like this, sitting in the 6 and just being kind of a distributor, you know, little Tyler Gibson-ish, where he's pulling that ball off the back line. You know, he can defend, he reads the game well, so he's enough of a screen in front of that back 3 that he can dismantle stuff, but he's able to get forward like this and actually use his creativity in the attack as well.
And again, Neil Collins and Nicky know each other from their days of playing English. There's a great knowledge of what player can do for coach. Aguilera gets the takeaway. Can he break free from Scarlett? Goes to ground, and the official says not enough in it. He looked towards the 4th official for help, but deemed that Aguilera was simply looking for contact and could have kept going. We play on.
It's a great read by Aguilera. I think if he pushes that ball out in front of him and just uses his speed without the ball, he's able to separate a little bit more.
Tejada, that was the target from McQueen, just couldn't slide it past Scarlett. And because of the way that both of these teams want to press and attack, you're going to see moments like that the entire game. This will be open from end to end. Scarlett playing in his 20th match of this season. Third year of playing with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Here's Hilton.
What a ball. That quick switch is so difficult to defend.
LaCava plays it in. Lewis gets big, tips it away, tries to track it down, and they're going to call him for a penalty. He is deemed to have taken down Dos Santos in the effort to track down the ball, and a spot kick is coming here for the visitors of the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
One thing here that's possibly an advantage for Indy 11 is Fernandez has scored 5 of Tampa Bay's PKs. He's their normal guy in this scenario.
Take another look from behind the plate.
I like the aggressiveness in the box. I don't think he needed to go get that ball. I think Timmer was in position to maybe clear that away.
It is Dos Santos that will take the spot kick. 33 later this year, 60 goals in league play. Make it 61. And it's 1-1. The visitors from the spot level the match in the 32nd minute.
Coach Lowry's talked about it a couple of times about how it's not just getting the right players in, the right system in, it's teaching an organization to win, teaching a team to win. And it's stuff like this. It's stuff like what happened last week in Memphis. You get that lead, and it can't be any kind of response that allows the other team to breathe. You look at Tampa Bay. I believe they were down 1-0 to Atlanta last week and came back and scored 3 unanswered. It's a team that has no fear. They understand how to win.
For Dos Santos, his 61st goal in USL Championship play, the 9th leading goal scorer in the history of the league. So tied at 1.
We were talking about this before the game. It's incredible. On their roster right now, they have 3 of the top 15 goal scorers in the USL Championship of all time.
Jerome. Good job to get in the way.
Here's where you got to get them. They got 3 backs. They push guys up. You have a 3-on-2 for a moment. Too many touches right now. Your 3-on-2 turns into a 3-on-6.
And that's been an issue that the Indy 11 have dealt with for the last 2 years.
The struggle is there's this thought, hey, the more we possess the ball, the better. That's great, except in opportunities when you have that numerical advantage and you have the opportunity to put a team under.
There's Tejada in the midfield.
Look at how many Volt jerseys, your highlight jerseys, are behind the ball right now. At the moment that Indy got the ball on the edge of their attacking third, it was a 3-on-2, blue jerseys against yellow jerseys.
Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. Choose what you play with at SelectSportAmerica.com. Select, League's Choice, Player's Choice. Ingram goes to ground. White leads the attack and puts it somewhere between Dos Santos and LaCava.
Now, as much as you talk about transition going forward, good defensive transition from Indy there. A little bit of a giveaway on the Tampa Bay back line, brings it up. Indy gets 6 guys behind the ball.
And Aguilera is going to be shown a card, and that is of note because that is going to be his 8th card of the season, which means that Raul will now miss next week's match against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. So both he and Sam Brown were sitting on 7. If they could have made it to the end of August before getting that 8th, one would have been rescinded for good behavior. But that one is number 8. Will able to continue as long as he stays without another yellow in this match. There's one less option for Mark Lowry against another quality side 7 days from now.
Another pick by Aguilera. That's great. He's reading things well. His pace, his pressure.
Asante for McQueen. Antley just did enough to get in the way. You're seeing flashes, though. You're seeing sparks that you haven't been seeing all that much of lately.
You're seeing them in turnovers and in transition. And Indy 11 has to stay on the front foot if they want to get one. If the roles were flipped there and it's McQueen on the ball in the middle trying to find a ball into Asante, that's a really dangerous moment for Indy 11.
Possession has favored Tampa Bay. The dangerous chances have been largely equal, as the scoreboard is now. Ingram, great touch to avoid Dalgard and find the ageless Ioza. Here's Vasquez. Drum beat from the Brickyard Battalion. Thumping through strongly, celebrating their 11th anniversary. Yes, the supporters group predates the team. Happy anniversary, BYB. Timmer, good job to keep that ball in play. Asante gives chase, but Antley not exactly in a spot of bother. Will casually send that back to C.J. Cochran. Just remind your fans you can show your Indy 11 pride and get your exclusive IMCU Indy 11 debit card at any IMCU branch or online at imcu.com. Here's Hilton. Good read by Vasquez. But then just as good a read by Hilton to keep the attack pressing forward. Dalgo. White. Neil Collins directing some attention toward Jordan Scarlett, your last line of defense, and he's saying, buddy, get up in there in the attack.
Yep.
It is all gas, no brakes for the Rowdies.
I love that mindset as a player. It's attack all the time.
Dalgard on the cross and would like to have that one back. What would he say in Danish that you know that you can say on the broadcast?
I can't say that because my wife
about that cross?
My wife might be watching, and if I say the thing that she says when she's mad at me, I don't think that can go over the air.
Okay, thank you. I'm not trying to get you to swear in Danish because we are visible on YouTube,
right? Outside
of North America, or ESPN Plus, here in the States. But YouTube, like where our buddy Indy 11 UK is watching as we approach 1 a.m. British time right now.
Well, we had a couple of Danish viewers on our Facebook Live before the match. And this actually, Dalgard is...
Another great read by Vasquez, and that's going to be a high boot against Winzati.
Dalgard is how it is in the pronunciation, guy.
Correct. And
for
those,
Tampa Bay.
Let me explain for those outside of that are, friends, family, normal audience that knows that my partner played professionally in Denmark, and his lovely wife Charlotte is from Denmark. And so anytime there is a Danish player for or against the Indy 11, there is a stern talking to Brad from Charlotte, a.k.a. Jackster, as to how you actually should pronounce that person's name.
Yeah, so he's from Odense, which is the birthplace of Hans Christian Andersen. My wife and my son actually just visited there last summer. And so I was saying, hey, they got a guy from Denmark on the team here, and he's from Odense. And she says, yeah, what's his name? I said, it's Dalgard. She says, no. I go, look, I'm looking at the pronunciation guide. It's Dalgard. She says, no, Dalgo.
The great news
Dalgo.
is I know your wife will have to. Literally, I can hear her voice and see her face, that expression, saying, no.
So disappointed in
Yes. She keeps hoping for more and is left wanting.
I know, that poor woman.
Antley with the throw in here for Tampa Bay, coming in here in minute number 40. He came in for the injured Jake Arman. earlier in this match. Already one substitution used. And again, the embarrassment of riches that Tampa Bay has in terms of guys they can bring in off the bench. Fernandez, Greg, Emko Sana, Jan Ekra. Crazy amount of talent that this Rowdies franchise has put together.
But hey, if you're contending for a championship,
yep,
you know, you can't fill the end of that bench with academy guys.
Dalgard, again, deemed to have, I think the referee was kind of waiting on the linesman to make that call or signal a flag, and eventually both kind of said, yep, that's a foul. Of course, there is one less quality player for the Rowdies that we were fans of the last couple of years. Zach Steinberger enjoying retirement as a real estate man in the Tampa, St. Petersburg area.
He's killing it, too.
Of course he is.
Everything about him was first class.
Even his middle name of Wolfgang.
That's true. That is true.
Final 5 minutes plus stoppage time in tonight's match. This first half, I should say. Presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. For Mark Lowry, how are you feeling about this right now, Brad?
You know, you're happy that it's 1-1, that this game is, the 3 points are within reach, because you have to get 3 points tonight. But you're disappointed that it's 2 weeks in a row, you've got the first goal, you haven't been able to hold that lead.
I would say this, of comparing this week to last week, from one quality team to another, Tampa Bay to Memphis. Well, again, you know, Tampa Bay can get you at any moment, you know, because this team is so potent in the attack. It felt like Indy was playing a lot more uphill last week than they have been this week. There's much more chances and kind of attacking rhythm for Indy than what we saw 7 days ago.
Well, when you look at last week with Memphis, at this point in the match, Sean Lewis had made 2 great saves.
Yep.
The crossbar had stopped a goal. The post had stopped a goal. So it had felt so different a week ago.
Here's Law on the charge. Good job by White to widen the attack. Goes right back to the middle. And on the deflection, the ball finds Sebastian Guenzati. Dalgard. White lines it up, looking back post. Up and over the bar. Good service. Dos Santos couldn't keep it in play, and a goal kick coming, and Dos Santos comes up just a bit gimpy.
That's a great ball in. You'd love to see, if you're Tampa Bay, you'd love to see Dos Santos a little further out with his starting run, because you can always run in. It's really difficult if the ball is hit over you to backpedal and get any kind of pace on that ball.
As always, Indy 11 Soccer, presented in part by our friends at Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered. And Lewis doing a good job of letting some sands flow through the hourglass here. With that is told, hey, let's go ahead and restart this thing, shall we? Lewis delivers. Timmer will throw it in for Indy. Former Butler Bulldog. Much like the aforementioned Zach Steinberger. Part of the Paul Snape Appreciation Society of playing at Butler University. Guenzati. Dalgard. Hilton.
Good touch. Put a little bit of backspin on that ball to let it hold up.
White will draw a corner from the near side flag this time. Then once again, Hilton will take. Hilton from that font of soccer talent, Young Harris College in upstate Georgia. There's players like Paulie King, Paco Craig, Ilya Illich, and more that made the trek from England to Northeast Georgia to play at the Division II level. Hilton sends it in. Timmer with the read. Hilton looking back post, headed down, and Lewis, the diving save. The follow-up, though, is there. Onside goal, Tampa Bay. Rowdies in front 2-1. It is Jordan Scarlett that gets the goal. Lewis with a phenomenal effort. Just simply too much traffic in front of him. For all the good work that Mark Lowry's team has done here in half number 1, it looks like they are trailing heading to halftime.
Difficult, emotional moment. Changes the complexity of that locker room dramatically at halftime. And as a keeper, you do a great job to get to that ball, and you don't spill it. You're just getting your hand to it, and you're pushing it to where there's very little angle. It gets up quick, but that's just a great finish.
Scarlett gets the goal. There is going to be 5 minutes of additional time before we get to halftime. 3 goals and a couple of injuries will do that for you. There, frankly, is time for more from each of these two sides. From these last 5 victories for Tampa Bay, and you and I have noted they have not, lost a match since April 30th in a 3-2 defeat against San Diego. Those last 5 wins, they have scored twice in all of those matches, and usually more. They are averaging more than 2 goals a night. They're sitting here on 2 at halftime. That ball off of Guenzati.
I think it was just a couple weeks ago. They go into Pittsburgh and they drop 5.
That's usually a month for Bob Lilly's team.
I can't even imagine being around Bob Lilly.
I'm surprised we couldn't hear him from here. Fans are reminded to watch Wish TV, which if you're watching us over the airwaves, you're doing right now. It's your local news source. Find them online at wishtv.com. Majority of our games on My Indy TV, but tonight on Wish, we'll be there on Labor Day weekend as well when the Indy 11 had to play Detroit City, and Vasquez whistled for the infraction.
I look at the confidence in Tampa Bay here. Cochran plays a short goal kick out to Connor Antley, who takes on Solomon Asante in the box, dribbles past him to create some space.
This stretch of home games for the Indy 11 against the best of the best. Last week Memphis, next week Pittsburgh. Then Indy isn't going to be home for a couple of weeks, but then when they do return home, just the #1 team in both the East and the West, San Antonio on August 27th, then Lou City. And that rescheduled game on Wednesday, August 31st, what will be the only midweek home match of the year for the boys in blue. Ball sent in. Dos Santos could not get there in time. Hyatt Place at Hyatt House, downtown Indianapolis. Experience comfort in downtown Indy.
Well, that is a marvelous ball by Wyke.
Tejada, good job to square that ball away, but Aguilera's pass a bit errant. Advantage is being played. McQueen's got an opportunity. McQueen deflected away by Cochran. Like we said, not many. What Cochran does for Tampa Bay now is similar to, say, what Evan Newton was asked to do in 19 and 20 for the Indy 11. You're not going to see a lot. We need you to be big once or twice a match. That was that moment for Cochran. Jose. McQueen was off. Yep. Flag goes up. McQueen had just veered offside, but again, I have been told that people like when I use one of my favorite quotes, necessity is the mother of invention.
Who told you
on
that?
The broadcast? Our boss did. Pay attention to the meetings. Anyway, McQueen is playing a bit farther forward again because you've got some, again, you're kind of short of forwards right now, so you've got some midfielders playing more forward. You've got some defenders playing more of a midfield role. We've seen Alex McQueen play a lot of right back. What are your thoughts about what we're seeing from him in a midfield role here tonight?
Well, he's got ridiculous pace. And so when they're taking a look at like that last ball there, they're trying to free him against the back three of Tampa and just seeing if he can use his pace and his work rate to find the other end of the ball. You know, you saw something earlier in this match. Nicky Law separated a bit on McQueen, knew who McQueen was, knew McQueen's pace, and decided, even though I've separated, I'm not going to outrun this guy. So he gives the ball to somebody else. So there is this respect for the pace that he brings to the match.
What is the halftime message for Mark Lowry?
Oh, you got. I mean, you're down. The team's down. You know, you had the 1-goal advantage. You got the equalizer. You know, good call, bad call on the PK. It's irrelevant at this point. You give this, you know, late second goal right now, and you got to find a way to instill hope and belief in the guys that this is a winnable match still.
Aguilera goes shoulder to shoulder with Wyke. Throw-in coming here for the Rowdies, but there'll be no need for further activity at this point. We have reached the 5 minutes of added time. For a second week in a row, the Indy 11 score first. This time, the visiting team not only equalizes, but goes back in front. From the spot, Dos Santos, followed by the rebound shot by Jordan Scarlett. And it adds up to the Tampa Bay Rowdies putting on their usual offensive show as they lead 2-1 after 45 minutes of soccer. Coming up at halftime, we'll have our look around the USL Championship. That includes the Open Cup as well. Stats, highlights, tables, the whole 9 yards. Nicky Law back in Indianapolis. The visiting side is winning 2-1. Back with more in a moment on Wish TV and ESPN+. Back at Carroll Stadium, Greg Rakestraw, Brad Hodder with you here on Wish TV and ESPN+. It's been entertaining. We knew that would be the case. Indy 11 scored first, but credit to Tampa Bay, as we have said and you have seen with your own eyes, one of the better teams in the league. They looked like it after giving up that first goal from the penalty spot, and then on the rebound, they scored twice and they lead 2-1 here at halftime. Quick look at our USL Championship Team of the Week, honoring the top players from across the league in this past week's activity. Player of the Week, Milan Alaski. He has won that a lot over the course of the past few weeks.
I'll tell you the thing, too, is Paco Craig here, who's broken our heart when he was with Lou City, does it again while he's with Miami. They're drawing, and in the 93rd minute, he scores a goal that allows Miami to pull 2 more points ahead of Indy 11.
And by the way, not one but 2 players that we will likely see at some point tonight on this list for Tampa Bay Rowdies. For Steven Dos Santos, who had his 61st career goal in the USL Championship from the spot earlier. And I guarantee you, we will see Leo Fernandez at some point in time in half number 2. Brad, let's shift our attention now to the U.S. Open Cup. Sadly, the Indy 11's run ended after his one match back in early April. Well, Sacramento Republic is still going. In fact, they are going to the championship on September the 7th in Orlando City. They got there by way of that penalty kick save. They win at 5-4 on PKs, beating Sporting Kansas City on Wednesday night. Congratulations, the team from Northern California, the first team from our level to play for the US Open Cup Championship since the Charleston Battery in 2008.
Yeah, you love to see it, and with it, you're always looking for, is the moment too big? They defeated 3 MLS teams now as they head to this, and is the moment too big? It wasn't a missed PK, it was a saved PK, and then you look at the filthy one that they converted, and then the backflip. Unreal.
As if the Panenka wasn't cool enough. Let me stick the landing after connecting on that one as well. Again, the last time a team from what would be now known as the USL Championship won the Open Cup, you got to go back to 1999 when the Rochester Raging Rhinos were your Open Cup champions. Best of luck to Sacramento Republic. Again, you can catch that match on ESPN Plus September the 7th at 8 o'clock. We'll take this quick time out. We'll take a look at both the tables in the Eastern and Western Conference and get ready for half number 2. More of Indy 11, the Tampa Bay Rowdies, comes your way next here on Wish TV.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
I'm on that routine. I'm on that routine.
Back to second half action coming up in a matter of moments. Again, 2-1 our score at the break. Indy 11 trailing the Rowdies of Tampa Bay. And alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw with you. We have referenced the difficulty of the schedule, albeit at home for the Indy 11. And that does not get any easier with Pittsburgh coming to town next Saturday night.
Yeah, it's a tough stretch that Indy 11 has had really since the beginning of June. You know, when they redid the turf and the team was on the road for 4 weeks, and you come back and now you just got this murderer's row of teams coming in.
In some degree, it lessens a bit with Hartford and FC Tulsa. Again, Tulsa, the team that Indy has to catch first before thinking about getting to Miami in the 7th and final playoff spot. And as referenced earlier in the broadcast, once you get through with that, then you have San Antonio and Lou City, the respective best teams in both the East and the West right now.
How about that? How about, I mean, you got to try and get at least a point out of this match.
And so
three hopefully.
Indy is 9 points back, 2 matches in hand on both Miami and Tulsa. Again, Indy is done with Miami. They have seen them twice. They have yet to play Tulsa both times. But again, to your point, if Miami gets a result this weekend and Indy doesn't, that's a problem with 13 matches left to go. A quick glance at the Western Conference. Again, this year, Indy is playing 8 teams from the West. They have already played several good ones in San Diego and Colorado Springs. And what do you know? Number 1 is in that group, too.
Unreal. I mean, and they're playing so good right now.
As it looks, Indy will play the top 4 teams in the Western Conference this year. We'll take this quick timeout. When we come back, first half stats, highlights, and a conversation with Coach Lowry, we hope. Indy trails 2-1. As the teams get ready to head back onto the field for half number 2. First, a quick look back at half number 1. One with 3 goals, the first belonging to the Indy 11. The second 2 belonging to the visitors from Tampa Bay. Again, Indy on the front foot early, and it was off the foot of Raul Aguilera, or rather his head, on fantastic service from Jared Timmer.
You talked a little bit about it in the first half, is that in the absence of 2 of your top goal scorers, that Aguilera is going to have to make a more aggressive approach from his midfield spot.
But then the takedown by Sean Lewis led to a point to the spot. Dos Santos with the goal for Tampa Bay. That would level us at 1. And then a few minutes after that, the tremendous save by Lewis, but the follow is there for Scarlett to make it a 2-1 lead for the visitors.
Really difficult angle. Lewis gets back to his feet, cuts out almost all the windows. and Scarlett still finds it.
Alex McQueen gets a good look again. I would say Indy had more scoring threats this week than last, which is what tells you they still have an opportunity left to go in this match. All right, we're now joined by assistant coach Matt Williams, pitch side. Matt, overall, your thoughts on what you saw from your team in half number one?
Yeah, really good start. Obviously, we pressed them really well in the beginning and had some success with that and created some attacking opportunities, got our goal. Really unfortunate, actually, their substitution, their injury really changed the game. Their left center back was left-footed initially, so we're able to cut him off, and we caused them all sorts of problems. And then the guy that goes in is right-footed, and it just gives you different angles, and everything's a little bit different. And because it was on the opposite side of the field from the bench, we couldn't get an adjustment to it, so that's really where their success came from. So we'll look to change that in the second half, and obviously we're down, so we're going to create some attacking opportunities and try and score a couple goals.
Matt, thanks for the time, buddy. Best of luck in the second half.
Absolutely.
Matt Williams kind enough to join us. We'll talk to head coach Mark Lowry coming up at the conclusion of the broadcast in our post-game show presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers and Bet Rivers. And your thoughts on what Matt just had to say?
Well, it's interesting. We talked about it too when Connor Antley, took Solomon Asante on in the box. It changes everything when you start game planning things and where we're going to try and push play and what pockets we're going to try and press. And then all of a sudden, one of the pieces on the other team changes. The angles do have to change.
So Raul Aguilera standing over top of it. Second half action underway here at Carroll Stadium, and some significant ups by one Jared Timmer to go get that ball and keep it in play. But Guillen played the angles well to watch that ball roll for a throw in coming here for Aaron Guillen. Guillen is from Mexico but played his college soccer, I believe, just down the road at Florida Gulf Coast. If I have my Western Florida coast geography correct.
I'm sure you do.
Guillen has almost played every minute of every match this year. He has started every match, been subbed off just one time.
And one of the things I was interested to see here is how Tampa Bay comes out in the second half. Are they going to take their 2-1 lead and try and navigate this game, or are they going to continue to push players forward, try and keep this game in their attacking half and out of the gate? It looks like they're going to keep their foot on the gas.
I get the feeling for Tampa Bay, their idea is that the bank window is never closed. But they are going for it all 90 minutes of a match.
Love it too. When you have that philosophy and you got the right players, it makes the game fun to play because you're always attacking. And you defend so well.
Asante gives it a hit, knowing he didn't really have any kind of help with him. Went ahead and tried to bang it on the one time and steers it just wide.
When you attack all the time and you're continuing to put teams under, that's a great way to defend. Teams get scared to open up against you.
Just remind your fans that you can take the boys in blue with you wherever you go. Download the all-new Indy 11 app in the Apple Store or get it on Google Play. Jesus Vasquez. His first time in an 11 uniform acquired from RGV earlier this week. He really impressed Mark Lowry in his work with LA Galaxy 2 the last couple of years when Mark was with El Paso. And Mark just felt, again, with having to bump Jared Timmer out to a right back spot, felt he wanted a little more depth in terms of the center back position. And so hence Vasquez became the addition for the Indy 11.
We looked a little bit at the end of the last match with Hackshaw moving more into a midfield role, and you see that from the start here, putting Ayoze out as the left back and moving Hackshaw into the midfield. It allows Ayoze to manage his minutes. He can spray that ball all over the park from that spot, but he can navigate his minutes a little bit better, and then that gets Hackshaw up in the attack mode.
Timmer plays it across, looking back post. Tejada couldn't get there in time. Jordan Scarlett did just enough to get in the way. But Mark Lowry standing and applauding what he is seeing from his team.
Great ball by Timmer, but you love the effort from Tejada. Tejada, one of the things I've loved about him since he first came into this league, he's just always buzzing around that 6-yard box. He always seems to be back post for a ball that's going to be driven across.
Here's Hackshaw. He referenced the move of him back to more of a midfield role, as Jerome thought McQueen was going to touch back for that one. He did not. Now the break is on for Tampa Bay. It is Law that is leading the effort. Wenzati. Back for Nicky Law. Lays it across, and Meshach Jerome will sky this one. Hackshaw will do more of the same. Hilton steers it back towards the 18. And eventually, Guillen will hustle to track it down on the left flank. But that role that Hackshaw is playing now, that's where Mark Lowry had envisioned playing him to start the year. It's kind of a confluence of circumstances, then put him back at his, what we've become used to, his left back position with the Indy 11. Although that midfield role is more what we play with the Charleston Battery. Dos Santos. That is going to be whistled as a foul going in the opposite direction.
Yeah, that's a great touch by Dos Santos to give himself an opportunity for a shot. Meshach just slips in there to make sure he can't connect on the other end of it.
That's going to be deemed to be card-worthy against Steven Dos Santos. The referee has yellow in hand. Dos Santos already the benefactor of a penalty called against the Indy 11. This time, the table turned a bit in terms of the whistle. Take a second look at it here.
What a touch. What a touch. That's a finisher's touch. Right off his chest. It's going to drop right into a place where he's able to turn his body and get a touch on it if Jerome doesn't get in.
Steven Dos Santos from Cape Verde. He's played in Rochester, Ottawa, Pittsburgh, and now his second year with the Rowdies. Fantastic find to pick up Ingram. Now Tejada. Tejada would love nothing more to score one against his old mates. A good job by Wyke to stand him up, and then Tejada whistled for the foul. Lawrence Wyke began his college soccer in the States.
Marking 13 on both.
I believe at a place that you know well.
Huh? What?
Trinity and San Antonio.
Oh, my goodness. What a program down there. Have you ever been to that campus?
I have not.
It's like a country club.
Division III level, correct?
Beautiful, yeah.
Brian Rebion will come on for Alex McQueen. This is not a surprising move because in talking with Mark Lowry yesterday, and this substitution has all been brought to us by Jiffy Lube of Indiana, basically goes, I know my starting 12. Haven't decided whether it's going to be Rebion or McQueen yet, so not surprised that one gets one half, one gets the other. Rebion still working his way back into match fitness after a knee injury suffered back in April. Other than a couple of reserve appearances in June, really has cost him 3 months. Rebion working his way back in, and he is now playing more of a midfield role. And he and McQueen have played more, right back, or they were thought to be the guys that would play right back this season. And with Timmer in that spot now, they're both kind of bumping up a bit farther forward.
Great win by Vasquez.
Of course, this match brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. So both teams have used a sub with 4 left to go. Amongst those available for the Indy 11 tonight, Sam Brown, Rodney Michael, Diego Sanchez, newcomer Wilfredo Rivera, Tim Trilk is the backup goalkeeper for the Indy 11 as well this evening. And A.J. Cochran is available if needed to.
Tampa Bay has pulled back a little bit on the pressure right now. It's more situational. If they find a read that favors them, they go, but it's not the all-out press that we saw in the first half.
Tejada got tied up with his former teammate, and that too will be deemed to be card-worthy for Juan Tejada. He is shown yellow as well. This Tampa Bay team, a team that expects to be playing into November. Regular season ends on October the 15th, playoffs the following week. Top 7 in each conference will make the postseason this year. So obviously one less match if you are the #1 seed, and we'll finish that thought in a moment, but a bad giveaway by Tampa. Asante, Aguilera, and two guys on different pages.
It was tough in that scenario. Aguilera making a run into Asante's space allows the defenders just to compact the space, and it takes away the opportunity for both of them.
So if Aguilera is reading Asante, where should he have gone in that scenario?
Stay out. Let Asante have that space. Be there as an option if he needs on the outside. But if you can spread that back line a little bit more, you create better angles and bigger channels for Solomon.
The man that got his 50th regular season goal in USL Championship play a week ago. His name is all over the USL Championship record books. We have a few of those players playing in tonight's game. Most of them playing for the brightly adorned visitors tonight. Here's Guillen. LaCava on the flick. Jerome with the perfect read. Antley takes a tumble, advantage being played. Three players converge on Nicky Law, and all of them deemed to have done so legally. Tejada couldn't keep it. Here's Wyke. Now Dalgar. Now this is the end at which the Rowdies want to play at, with a 1-goal advantage. Again, Timmer, well done. Good ball to Aguilera. Just that first touch kind of.
Yeah, it was a right find,
Yep.
and you saw it on the last one too. Aguilera was in the center of the field, and they find him as a target, comes right to his feet, plays a great touch to Tejada that Tejada just mishandles, and it becomes a Tampa Bay ball again.
Ingram lifts out of the 18, but not too far away. And it's Vasquez who will volley it sideways for a Tampa Bay throw-in. Even in a 1-goal match, there's a feeling of comfort for the visitors right now. Jerome back to midfield. Alfredo Rivera has made his way to the bench. He's about to make his Indy 11 debut. A man that has played in League One as well as MLS Next Pro for Orlando City B. Kyle Gregg and Leo Fernandez are making their way to the Tampa Bay bench at the same time. Guillen looking back post, a little much on that. Ayoze will send that toward the on-field sweeps. It will be a corner coming for the Rowdies here in minute number 57.
And that all keyed off of Hilton. Hilton was not in a passing lane, but he recognized where Indy was going to press from and just held his ground. Indy presses, it opens up a lane to Hilton. That's the out from the back line. He distributes it in, and they have this opportunity off of it.
From the corner flag. Ball sent in. Dos Santos got a good look at it. And that may be one of his last chances, knowing a couple of strikers are waiting to come in, potentially in replacement of him. This match presented in part by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. A restart by Sean Lewis is a quick one. Timber provides an outlet. Connor Antley able to work his way around to Sante. Dos Santos. Guenzati. Guenzati gives it a hit, but right at the chest of Sean Lewis.
I mean, he may have some miles on those legs, but that ball still pops off his foot at a good pace.
Again, he had 21 goals last season. There is clearly still something there. The last 2 full seasons he's had at this level, he's had 18 and 21 goals. Again, and he was a very good goal scorer with the Cosmos. He wasn't that level of goal scorer in New York. Rebion finds Asante. Chances were relatively equal in half number 1. That has not been the case in the opening 14 minutes of half number 2. It's still just a 1-goal hill to climb for the Indy 11. Nervous moment here. Guenzati the takeaway. Dos Santos to his left, Hilton to his right. Now the secondary run made by Dalgard.
Great ball.
Dalgard plays it across. Vasquez gets in the way. Wyke will keep the attack fluid. Ball headed down by Guenzati. Wow. Missed opportunity by the Rowdies, and with that, it is time for some substitutions. One of the best scorers in the history of this league, Hal Gregg, is about to come in for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And then behind him, another one of the best scorers in the history of the league, and Leo Fernandez will come in as well. And as expected, those substitutions brought to us by Chippy Lube, but figured that Guenzati and Dos Santos likely were the guys that were heading to the side after 60 minutes, and that is exactly the case. And Tampa Bay has all of a sudden become a hockey town and community because of the play of the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is like a line change that Neil Collins can do up top, because another great player in Lucky M. Kosana is available if needed later in the match up top as well. I happened to be in Clearwater during last year's Stanley Cup run. I'll finish that thought in a moment. Tejada trying to hang on to it and just couldn't do it.
And a great run by Asante. We were hoping that Tejada was going to be able to get a touch on that ball, see him and slide that ball across the box.
And Gregg sends Vasquez flying, and hence the whistle. And the trainer will be waved on for the Indy 11. And Wilfredo Rivera has made his way to the 4th official. Let's hope that Vasquez is all right. And Gregg was back. There was nothing nefarious there from Gregg. Just the way that things played out.
Well, Vasquez gets so high for that ball, too, that Gregg just standing his ground. That's going to happen.
You could say there are some nuggets of the turf currently on Jesus Vasquez. How about this nugget? He is the 8th different player in the 9-year history of the Indy 11 to wear number 2.
One more time.
He is the 8th different player in the 9-year history of the Indy 11 to wear the number 2 for the club. And that is our nugget of the game, brought to us by Impact Financial, a private wealth advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial, where you get advice worth talking about.
I don't understand you. I don't understand how you work.
I look these things up. They're on file. Chad Gruby's a bigger nerd than me. He keeps track of all of this stuff and sends me an email every week, so I can look things like that up and go, oh yeah, guys like Judson McKinney and Neil Schaefer and Lucas Farias and Andrew Stone. Ward, you have people that help you on the trivia questions. I have people that help me with my stats as well. Dylan Mayer is briefly wore number 2 for the team when he was back with the club in 2018. Of course, these days, Dylan, his 3rd year in El Paso, spent the last 2 playing for Mark Lowry with El Paso Locomotive. Dylan, the only player in Indy 11 history that wore 3 different numbers for the team. How about that?
That's incredible. It's incredible. You do this with, people don't see this. You do this without notes.
Say it convincingly and people will believe you. This portion of the match is brought to us by Community Health Network Sports Medicine. Exceptional care simply delivered. A flick by Ingram. Rivera continues to wait by the fourth official. Guillen lifts it for LaCava. LaCava on loan from the New York Red Bulls. LaCava spent time last year with the Red Bulls too. He's on an MLS deal. And he has been outstanding in his first season in South Florida. Now Rivera will be waved on. And our substitutions brought to us by Chief Lupe of Indiana, and he replaces Raul Aguilera. So again, the two young men that know each other from their days together in Orlando City exchange spots. There's a good chance that Rivera could be in that spot next week, because again, the first half yellow picked up by Raul was his 8th of the season, which means he is on pace to sit next week when Indy plays the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
Right, so great sub for a lot of reasons. One, you can't go down a player at this point, so you can't get a second yellow card. Aguilera has been pushing so far forward. There's a lot on his legs right now. You can see he's been great in pressing and picking off balls in the middle, but that does take its toll on a player.
2 substitutions remain for the Rowdies, 3 available for the Indy 11. Timmer the target. That was not where that ball was supposed to go. LaCava with 2 options to his right. LaCava plays it. Left foot up and over the bar. Was there a touch there? Yes. Corner kick coming.
Oh, I'll tell you, a tough first touch for Kyle Gregg. If he has a better first touch, that winds up in the back of the net. Good movement from Tampa Bay to get that ball across the box. You could see the way that the 2 Indy defenders jammed up the middle. They were trying to keep LaCava on his left foot.
Gregg last year, a late signee of Lou City. Played a very similar role, kind of come in and help close down matches, spell Cameron Lancaster. Tonight, the gentleman on your screen is playing his 237th match in the USL Championship from Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Here's Hilton. At the edge of the 6, headed down, and again, wow. Tampa has missed 2 or 3 good looks to make this a 2 or 3 goal lead. Still a 1-goal game.
Tell you what, that comes back to bite you sometimes. You know, you've got, I don't know if it's sometimes the ball's not falling your way or a lack of focus in the box. Whatever it is, there are times when games can slip away because you don't put a team away when you have the opportunity to.
Wilfredo Rivera, again, while you've touched on this, again, he's been a professional now for the last couple of years. I thought Mark Lowry hit on it very well on Soccer Saturday today. He's 18 years of age, and he's away from home for the first time. There's a lot of life lessons he will learn in his time with the Indy 11 over the course of the next 13, 14 matches. Of course, this match presented by the Denny Companies, tearing down the past so you can build the future. Hackshaw and Guillen get tied up, and while Guillen goes to ground, it is deemed that Guillen made the grab first, and hence the whistle goes in favor of the Indy 11. And Guillen seems a bit surprised the call went against him. In basketball, we say sometimes you can foul a guy with your face. Guillen may have done just the same thing.
We do say that? That's a basketball saying?
That's a basketball saying, yeah. He must have fouled him with his face.
You did
when
see
a guy elbows you, and then, you know.
Yeah, you did see the elbow, but it was a foul from Guillen first.
It was that hook.
Right.
Great job by our Tupelo Honey camera crew producing the match tonight for Fish TV and ESPN Plus. Brad and I'll be back next Saturday. And when Bob Lewis Pittsburgh Riverhounds are in town, that game back on My Indy TV and ESPN Plus. Here's Lewis. Quick score update from elsewhere around the league, and this is good news for Indy. Pittsburgh leads FC Tulsa 1-0. Indy's looking for everybody playing Miami and Tulsa to do good things against those 2 teams. Well,
they got 2 games in hand on each team. Miami's off this weekend, so you got a chance to at least gain a little bit of ground on that playoff spot. You're concerned because Tulsa's ahead of you, but really it's that spot that Miami's holding that you got to set your sights on.
Leo Fernandez to LaCava. LaCava couldn't keep it at his feet. Here's Rivera. We first saw Leo Fernandez as well as a New York Cosmo, playing in He's parked for the first time in 2015 when he was on a season-long loan from the Philadelphia Union. So add him to the list of former Iose teammates playing for the opposite side in tonight's game. This portion of this match brought to us by Keystone Construction. It's more than construction, we build a vision. Last week, I can see why Leo came off the bench for tonight's match. He might be a little bit tired. He had 10 shots last week.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
10 of his team's 28. Tejada dispossessed. LaCava. He's been going and going and going, has Jake LaCava. Hilton.
I really love the job Hilton's done in there. I mean, he sits in that pocket and he just moves the ball left to right, left to right, left to right.
The attention on this team is going to go to the talent in the front third, but the midfield is so solid of this group. Wyke and Hilton, you add Law into that mix. Such a well put together team. These Tampa Bay Rowdies. Not a weakness of this group, is there?
No, and then you pick up Nicky Law to fortify the midfield. I mean, you have to get rid of Tejada to do that, but you've got scorers. I mean, you've got a wealth of scorers. So you bring in a world-class midfielder in this league, and Nicky Law to just solidify things. And Hilton's doing all this dirty work back in there. That allows Nicky Law to get forward a little bit more and get involved in the attack.
Timmer able to square away Fernandez. Hackshaw buys a bit more real estate. Now Tejada in the midfield. And this reminder, Indy 11 Premium Suites, the perfect way to entertain your guests. Learn more at Indy11.com or call 317-685-1100. Lawrence have been a case of the Indy 11 kind of in a defensive posture pretty much exclusively since halftime.
I'll tell you, just like that right there, the difficult thing for Indy right now is whenever they press the ball, Tampa has 2 or 3 options to relieve the pressure. And that just makes that press and that defensive energy work against itself.
Fernandez fouled by Rabiot. I'm feeling trivial, Brad. What do you have for me?
Oh, okay. Let's see what we got here. I got a couple of mid-range ones for you. Then I got a tough one. Here's a mid-range one. 2 great tight ends that played for both the Colts and the Bucks.
Ken Dilger would be one of them.
That's one of them.
The pride of Southern Indiana, Heritage Hills High School, University of Illinois. I'm going to think about the other guy. Ball lifted up, LaCava the target. Did Dallas Clark get a cup of coffee with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
He did. You are ridiculous. Okay, I'm going to follow it up with one more. You should be able to get easy. This University of Indy alum signed with the Bucks in 2018. If you don't get this one, you're going to get your alumni status removed from you, Indy.
Holcomb, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I thought.
Son of a gun. Okay, you got one more.
Yes, I called his games as the voice when I'm not doing these games, sneaking a couple of University of Indianapolis football games during the course of the fall, and had his games. So yes.
Yeah, I got my toughest one in my hip pocket, so don't get out of here tonight without me.
Well, let's save that for stoppage time at the postgame show.
I need to practice it in my head a couple times.
Well, much like me, if you bet with Bet Rivers, you'll bet with a winner. Thanks to the folks at Bet Rivers for their great sponsorship and support of the Indy 11. Tejada.
I wonder what Bet Rivers has as the odds that you'll miss a trivia question.
Same as kind of the Mega Millions odds, I think. Iose fouled and deemed to have restarted a bit too quickly or a bit too far down the field.
Which is fine. You get that one over again.
Yep.
It's restarts and counterattacks are going to be the way that Indy is going to be able to equalize this match.
Here's Rabiot. Ingram. And this ball with no one close by in particular. A.J. Cochran has made his way back to the bench for the Indy 11. You would think maybe Jesus Vasquez might be giving a bit of an early exit in his first match after making the trip from South Texas to join the Indy 11. AJ went past 150 caps in the USL Championship recently. By the way, Neville Hackshaw hit that mark tonight. 250th appearance at this level. Time spent between the Charleston Battery and the Indy 11. Job well done by Neville. Sam Brown is also to the bench as well. Again, there aren't that many, simply put, attacking / forward options right now for the Indy 11. No Manuel Arteaga tonight, no Stefano Pino tonight, no Aris Briggs for the foreseeable future, and Jonas Fjellberg was just sent to RGB to bring back Vasquez, so a little bit short in the forward category this evening.
When you look at a sustained possession like this from Tampa Bay, you've got Asante all the way back in the box helping out defensively. He's the guy that you're hoping is going to be able to get on the end of a ball and equalize this match, and he's 100 yards from goal.
And then he picks up a foul outside of the 18, and a restart coming here for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2022, whether your club is on the road or at home. Catch nearly every second of USL Championship action on ESPN+, the home of the USL, MLS, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Today I was watching Cardiff and Norwich. First weekend of championship football in England had my attention this morning. You weren't following that one?
I've been a little busy with
baby goats at the farm.
I have been a midwife for our pregnant does.
Congratulations on the new addition to the family.
Thank you very much.
You have won Facebook the last few days with jumping baby goats.
Baby goats is an easy way to win Facebook.
A couple of substitutions for both sides heading towards the fourth official. But for now, the restart coming here in the 76th minute for Tampa Bay. Ball sent in. Ioze got in the way. Guillen will steer it, and nobody in that general area. Goal kick coming for Sean Lewis, but first, substitutions aplenty. All brought to us by Jiffy Lube. So again, for the Indy 11, it is A.J. Cochran and Sam Brown. Justin Ingram and Jared Timmer are the pair that will be exiting. So Timmer, a rare time he has been subbed on. Then for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, Jan Ekra will give Nicky Law the final 15 minutes of this one. We have the remainder of the evening. Sit back and enjoy a lovely night in Indianapolis. And Dayon Harris. Harris entering the fray. Harris playing in his 14th match of the season. All but 3 have been as a substitute. Does have 2 goals and 2 assists in limited minutes. So we'll not see backup netminder Phil Breno nor Lucky M. Kasana tonight for the Rowdies, as their substitutions are done for the night. And again, Guillen draws the contact from Rebion. Rebion thinks that Guillen might have sold that one just a little bit. And Rebion gets a word from our match referee. No more than that. It's funny, Brad, the point you were just making about Solomon Asante being back to help defend, Mishak Grumton, go higher, stay up there. We need you in that direction.
Yeah, you know, you love, hey, I'm willing to help out. I'm going to spend some energy, jamming up things in the box. But the opportunities for Indy 11 to equalize this match, you've got to have some spacing. You've got to have some guys that once you do win that ball in your back third, you've got an outlet. You've got a way to knock that ball up the field and actually hold possession or create something off of it.
Cochran with a touch to send it sideways. Sports This Match brought to us by Johnson Controls. Johnson Controls, the power behind your mission.
I'd say I've just been so impressed with Hilton. All of this stuff that's not going to wind up in the stat book. Finding the right passing lane, defending well, moving the ball well. brilliant performance tonight.
Rowdies look for the season sweep against their rivals that dates back to 2014. The second match in Indy 11 history came against these Tampa Bay Rowdies, and that's going to be an infraction against Ioze, and immediately puts the hand out saying, yep, hey, my apologies. Harris, the player that was fouled. First time these two teams played, April 19th, 2014. It was a 1-1 draw when these two teams got together back then.
Yeah, the humidity was around 70%.
Winds were coming lightly out of the west.
Exactly.
You and I were wearing shiny blazers. we both had a little bit more hair back then.
Oh my goodness.
We saved the blazers for special occasions now. They were everyday Eddies back in year number 1 of the team. The team still has the same announcers and the same blazers 8 years later. 80th minute. What has been a beautiful night here in Indianapolis. Tough ball. Cochran got there first. Ekra, one touch, second touch, and let's see where that one turns. It will be a corner kick.
You got 10 minutes plus, you know there's going to be some time added on here. There is the time to draw that point out of this match, but you cannot relax in a moment like this because a 3-1 score eliminates you from getting a point at this time in the game.
See the look at downtown Indianapolis from just above the BYB from the west end of this east-west pitch on the campus of IUP-UI. Both these teams get the luxury of playing in beautiful downtown stadiums. Tampa Bay gets to play in St. Petersburg at Al Lang. Indy here on the campus of IUP-UI, just a handful of blocks west of downtown Indianapolis. Guillen. And now you see Tampa Bay taking a little bit more time in terms of the restarts. And frankly, they've not been threatened in half number 2 by anything that Indy has done offensively. Guillen would like to have that touch back. Tonight's game presented in part by our friends at the Morales Group. Staffing agencies, find jobs, we build futures. Rebion, good read. Here's Brown. Give and go between Rebion and Hackshaw looks good. 3 options for Neville Hackshaw. He'll play it to a fourth to play it out wide to Ioze. Ioze pulls it back, sends it in. Hackshaw, the target, couldn't get to him. And then Rebion going to be called for the foul. And again, he had a conversation earlier. LaCava on the turf, and Rebion will be shown yellow. So a yellow shown a few minutes ago to Ioze. One shown to Brian Rebion here in minute number 82.
Good counter, good opportunity for Indy. You get it out to Ioze. He takes a touch, gets the defender wrong-footed, gives himself a clean path in. The problem was all of the runs were on the same line. There was no spacing in the box that allowed somebody at the top to be able to collect anything that wasn't on that line across the 6.
Well, LaCava will need to do his best to soldier on because, again, these substitutions have been used at this juncture for Neil Collins and staff with the Rowdies. Well, LaCava catches a moment to catch his breath. You see Mr. Rice and all the good folks in the Brickyard Battalion. They're celebrating their 11th anniversary tonight. Tonight's game presented in part by radical ideas like loving your enemies, your neighbors, and yourself unconditionally. Find out more at HeGetsUs.com. From the heavens, do you have a final trivia question?
Oh, my goodness, yes. The toughest one of the day. If you get this one, Bet Rivers has the odds you're not getting this one.
Okay.
This
Bet Rivers has the odds of making this right at 2-5.
Notre Dame quarterback.
Yes.
Had one start.
Yep.
For the Buccaneers.
Okay.
In season 1.
As in back in 1976.
Yes.
Well, the only Notre Dame quarterback I can think of from back in the 70s would be a guy like Terry Hanratty.
Come on, Rakestraw. Oh, my goodness.
I'm going to go ahead and hit mute on this one for the rest of the game. I'll take it from here. You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Unbelievable. That puts you at 15 out of 16 trivia today.
And I'm mad about the 16th. Well, let's hope that LeCave is all right. He has put forth a fantastic effort. Again, one sub had to be used early for the Tampa Bay Rowdies in terms of Connor Antley replacing Jake Arman. And LeCave, while he hasn't anything much to show for it in terms of individual accolades, I would say he has put in as many miles as any Rowdies player tonight. He has been go, go, go the entire time, and let's hope he can continue to go and finish out the match. Let's remind your fans for standing stats of the latest league news. Be sure to visit USLsoccer.com. LeCave just 21 years old, but he is on an MLS deal. He's got 10 goals this season, does LeCave. One of 11 players in the league heading into the weekend with double-digit goals. And Tampa Bay is one of 2 teams in the league that has 2 players that have scored in double figures. Colorado Springs is 1, TBR the other. Leo Fernandez has the number of goals that match his uniform number at this point, 11. Here's Antley. And again, for as much as Tampa Bay has been in absolute control of this match for the last 40 minutes, the Indy 11 are still 1 goal away from getting a point.
It is a cruel, cruel game in the fact that you take a look statistically, visually, however you want to measure this game, it has slanted all the way on Tampa Bay's side. However, Indy is still in it. They have not put them away, and it just takes one. It takes one counterattack. It takes one restart.
Rebiod. Vasquez. Al Gregg sprinting after that one. Vasquez won the foot race to get there. Lewis, good find for Rivera. Great idea on the flick. But Ioze could not get there in time. And then that ball was taken past the touchline. Bit of a miscue there by Harris, and Indy will have the throw in here in minute number 86. We had 5 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. I'm not sure we're going to have that much here at the end of half number 2. Our final 5 minutes plus stoppage time is brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Hackshaw the target. Cochran gets big to make the save.
A good read by Cochran. He was off his line at the time that Mishak served the ball in.
Cochran into this match tied for 10th in league history with saves and 287. Started the last 2 years in Oklahoma City. They're going to talk about the effort that the team in front of him does. He's been a starter now for 18 of the 22 Rowdies matches this year. He's 25th in saves. He just doesn't face that many shots.
Yeah. And, you know, we talked about it earlier. A great way to defend is just to keep attacking. Keep that ball in your attacking half. You don't have to defend if you're able to do that. And Tampa Bay has been brilliant in the attacking half all season.
You can also have Ecker make a 50-yard run. That doesn't hurt either. Ball played across. Nobody there on the back end. Throw in coming for the Indy 11.
And again, you got a 50-goal scorer that is back defending inside the 6. Love the effort, love the thought.
Well, clearly it is a building process for Mark Lowry here in Indianapolis. If this result doesn't turn in the next 5 or 6 minutes, what's the step in the building process the Indy 11 took tonight? What's the lesson learned by Mark Lowry?
I think you can go back to film back when they had that unbeaten streak early in the season, and you can take a look at how when it was working the way he wanted to, when the press was working, when the attack was working, they were electric. And then when things change, whether it's a personnel change or an energy change or a pressure change, when that changes, the team's just different.
The last win for the Indy 11 came 8 weeks ago. It's the Charleston Battery, a 4-3 hang on to it type of win against Charleston. Since that time, a draw, 6 losses, and a draw. Haven't found the back of the net for a second week in a row, but unless something changes late, no points in the offing. Tejada trying to do just that. Rebillon glances, looking back post, and nobody there.
It's a great ball by Mishak. So Indy 11 is moving that ball left to right, seeing Tampa Bay as they shift and adjust across the width of the field. They bite on the outside run to Rebillon, which opens up that ball down into the middle to Tejada. Great ball by Mishak.
As Cochran restarts, we'll start to glance toward the 4th official in Youssef El Masusi. See exactly how much additional time there's going to be in this match. You referenced the road warrior nature of this Rowdies team. Looking to try to pull all 3 points from this one. Rebillon goes to the ground, and Guillen commits the foul.
They've lost 1 match on the road. 1 match on the road. Trouble.
Antley with a touch. Antley gets back to it.
Got to make it count.
It will be a throw, and so everybody comes forward here for Indy. Lewis will make his way towards midfield. Jerome will stay outside of the 18. It is deemed to be a corner. By the way, we will have 5 minutes of added time. 5 more minutes of added time. Ball sent in. That's going to be a foul against Indy for a push in the back. Hernandez is face down from it on the brand new turf here at Carroll Stadium. And Rivera getting into it with Cochran. And Rivera shown a card. More than just the yellow in the Rowdies uniforms that has been on display this evening.
So we're going to go with yellow.
Something along those lines. High voltage, put it that way. Still time, frankly, going in both directions for 1 more goal in this match, even if this second half has been much more kind of settled into than what we saw the back and forth in half number 1. Tejada and Antley both go flying.
It's a great read by Antley.
They're simultaneously. Both guys popped right back up. The joy of being young. Rebillon looking for Asante, and Guillen had it read perfectly.
There's probably 2 more opportunities for Indy left in here to get into the attacking third.
Iose finds a way to get it to A.J. Cochran. When Timmer exited, Jerome bumped out to that right back position. Rebillon goes to ground and draws a whistle. And again, this simply allows Indy to put more numbers forward.
And I don't know how his legs are feeling, but I think you got to put Io on this ball.
It'll be Jerome that steps up over it. Midway through the added 5 minutes. Jerome sends it in. Tejada was a target. Rivera skies to keep it in play and tries to then get an effort to it. Sam Brown. He's got to be careful chasing the play. He's in that same yellow card accumulation number that Raul Aguilera is. He can't take a frustration yellow or he will miss the next match against Pittsburgh as well. Fernandez with some nifty footwork, but Rebillon gets in the way. But then Ekra takes it right back from Brown. There is Lewis Hilton playing the role of the cooler as he has done all night. Ball sent in. Greg tried to get ahead to it. Really couldn't square it up. I believe offside is going to be the call here. Or is it?
I don't know what else this could have been.
Was he potentially insinuating that could have been a penalty?
I don't know why the conversation would be looking like it's looking if it wasn't that thought.
Right.
And maybe there's a handball we didn't see.
I mean, he's going to go to the assistant referee on the other side. And again, no such thing as VAR to offer assistance in a spot like this.
You can just tell by the reaction of the Indy players that they do not like what the potential conversation was.
And it's going to be a point to the spot.
Well, we talked about in the first half, he's converted 5 of them already. And, you know, when it happened in the first half, he's sitting there thinking, okay, that's my 12th if I'm in the match. And when you've scored 5 PKs, the one blessing that Indy 11 and Sean Lewis has is that there's 5 video clips of where he puts the ball.
Fernandez makes it number 12 on the season, and he'll deliver all 3 points to the Tampa Bay Rowdies tonight. I'm not sure that goal was going to change the final outcome. I'm still not sure that was a penalty either. But whatever doubt there was about this one is up and gone at this point. 3-1 for the visitors.
And one of the things that you typically see when there is a obvious penalty kick, foul, or opportunity, the two teams are both arguing for it. Didn't look like
right.
Tampa Bay was really lobbying for it.
So a few more seconds left in this one. I think it's 6 consecutive victories for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And that'll be a whistle against the Rowdies. Stay tuned, we'll have the post-game show. Brought to you by your Central Indiana Honda dealers and the folks at Bet Rivers. Ball goes through and Ekra sweeps it away. Can't imagine there's all that much left in this one at this point.
Look at Hilton.
Yep.
This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. That is a player that you can build around. He's going to do whatever it takes to win. You just see it in the body language in him.
Hi, Jose. Asante gets fouled. Looking back post, Hackshaw was a target. Rebion will settle. Jerome sends it in. Asante got ahead to it, but no further action required after that. Indy scored first. The Rowdies would follow with 3 more. All 3 points go to the visitors tonight. Some boos from the BYB. I think that's directed at the red team, not the team in blue this evening. But again, make no mistake about it, Tampa Bay was the better side tonight. 2 of their 3 goals do come from the spot, but the Rowdies get it done again. 3-1 the finale here in Indianapolis this evening.
It's a frustrating moment right now for Indy. You know, you're at that kind of crossroads. Are we at a place that we're able to, you know, salvage an opportunity to make a run for the playoffs, or do we have to start taking a look at what we want to do for next year?
Well, you see some of the frustrations coming out from Indy 11 players towards some of the officiating calls in tonight's matchup. Mark Lowry just acknowledging the efforts of the Brickyard Battalion, thanking them for their support. And it's out of the cauldron into the fire for the Indy 11 next week. It will not get any easier, with Bob Lilly and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds coming to Indianapolis, and Nicky Law sharing some handshakes with guys that were teammates of his up until 10 days ago. Raul Aguilera found the back of the net, and Tampa Bay found it 3 times after that. Stay tuned. More coverage comes your way next here on Wish TV and ESPN+. Tonight's final score brought to us by Sherwin-Williams. More than 25 locations across Indianapolis. Your neighborhood paint store is always there to provide the perfect finish. We had 1 finish for the Indy 11. Again, a goal scored by Raul Aguilera, his 3rd of the season, on splendid service from Jared Timmer. But again, Tampa Bay Rowdies showed their championship medal. They played for the league title each of the last 2 years. Couldn't compete in that 2020 championship game. Lost to Orange County last year. But Neil Collins brought literally almost his entire team back. They've added a couple of key pieces, one of them recently from Indy and Nicky Law, and they look the part tonight in a 3-1 victory.
Yeah, it's that championship feel. You take a look. I believe it was the same last week. They go down a goal, and then they wind up coming back and scoring 3 unanswered. Now, we didn't have the luxury of seeing what that last penalty kick call was, if it was a good call or not. But you take a look at Indy had a couple of restarts, 2 or 3 different opportunities to be dangerous if it was still a 2-1 match. So it'll be really interesting when you look at the film to see what that call was.
Stay tuned. We'll have player interviews and coach interviews as well coming up in our brief post-game show presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, as well as the good folks at Bet Rivers. For those of you watching on ESPN+, we bid you a fond farewell on this Saturday night. Again, we'll do it again next week when the Indy 11 play host to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Again, 7 o'clock will be the start time of our coverage of that match. And you'll see that one on My Indy TV as well as ESPN+. Again, this rebuild effort continues for the Indy 11. Tonight, they go down in defeat to a great team. Tampa Bay 3, Indy 11-1. Thank you for watching Indy 11 Soccer. Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. And by Community Health Network Sports Medicine, exceptional care simply delivered. City. Figured as much.
Yeah, we played together in League One, and then last year for Orlando, the first team, and then I was happy to see him come back. You guys will like him. Everybody will enjoy him. Hopefully, he can find his groove and find his confidence here.
Yep. I'll probably ask you about that again when we get back on camera. So. And we're back on Wish TV. It's time for our post-game show presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, as well as the good folks at Bet Rivers. And alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw with you. We are thrilled to be joined by the goal scorer tonight for the Indy 11. Unfortunately, as he very well put off the air, wished it was kind of more towards the end result of the game. Still happy with his effort. It is Raul Aguilera that joins us now. Raul, tell us about what you saw, the service you got from Jared Timmer in taking that one-goal lead.
Oh, it was something that Mark had told us throughout the week, especially me, and even before the game. He told me to get to the box. He told me to find my way in the box, and something was going to pop up. And Jared put a great service in, and I just put my head through it and found it in the back of net.
Obviously, it has been a rough stretch, and that's an understatement for you guys over the course of the last couple of months. And now several new faces in terms of on this roster. What has that process been like of getting to know guys like Jesus and Juan, et cetera, and kind of work them into the mix?
It's refreshing, after, like you said, after going through the tough spell, it's nice to get some new faces, new energy to put into the game and kind of find something that works for us right now. And I think the past two games, even though this one was a loss, I think we're progressing, and I think it's not too late to turn this around and push for the playoff season.
Well, you talked about Coach Lowry talking about getting a little bit more forward and finding yourself into the box. When you play that top of the diamond role in his for midfield, what is your attacking responsibilities? What is he asking for you from that position?
It's funny. He told me that might not be the player to beat players, 2-3 players and then score a goal, but I am the type of player to get on the ball, just move it, circulate it, keep it moving, and then also, on the defensive side to press and repress. And I thought we gave the center backs a bit of trouble, especially in the first half, pressing them and putting them under pressure and forcing mistakes. So I thought it was something to build off of.
Yeah, I agree. I think the pressure that you generated created a couple of turnovers for you in there. Is that a read that you're having off of the two nines in front of you as far as where to go and when to press, or how are you deciding when to step in on a moment?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cues. There's a bad touch. There's a ball where it's a little bit off his foot, and any chance we get to repress, and we just got to go together and as a team. And I think we're getting a hang of it a little bit more, and especially with the new faces, the guys coming in and understanding the roles that we're trying to that we have as the front three. So I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay today.
Well, Raul, again, one of those new faces is not new to you. You know him very well from your days growing up in the Orlando City organization. What should Indy 11 fans expect from Wilfredo Rivera?
Yeah, man, we got to be behind him. We got to push him to be the best he can be because he has so much talent. I hope he finds his confidence here. He finds his rhythm, and I know he can bolster our attack for sure.
Well, Raul, we always appreciate your time after a tough night. Congratulations on your third goal of the season.
Thank
See you next weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Raul Aguilera, kind enough to join us here on the post-game show. And again, he is a guy that he's been given a great opportunity. It's the reason why he is here after struggling to find minutes with the first team at the MLS level at Orlando City. He's been an everyday contributor. Unfortunately, we're not going to see him next week due to a yellow card accumulation.
Right. You talk about the opportunity that he's been given, and yes, that's true. But
he's earned it.
He has earned that.
Yes.
He has filled that role, and he talked about the connectivity that he has. He connects the back line to the front. He connects the right side to the left. He's great at moving that ball around the field. You know, and he mentioned in there, hey, I'm not the guy that's supposed to beat 2 to 3 guys and then make that finish. However, we remember he pressed a ball, beat couple guys, and then slid a ball through for a goal over here. So he's willing to do that dirty work. He earns everything that he gets out here.
Again, unfortunately, Raul had a double yellow earlier this season, missed the match against Louisville. He'll miss the match next Saturday against an equally good team in Pittsburgh, which means an opportunity for more of Justin Ingram, more of Sam Brown, more players in the midfield, perhaps his buddy, Wilfredo Rivera as well. Stay tuned. More of our post-game show coming your way from Carroll Stadium as you're watching Indy 11 Soccer here on Wish TV. The Indy 11 flag flying high above the One America Tower in downtown Indianapolis. Fortunately, doesn't fly in the effort of a victory. A 3-1 loss against the Tampa Bay Rowdies tonight. Head coach Mark Lowry will join us in just a matter of moments here on Wish TV. Again, alongside Brad Hunter, Greg Rakestraw with you as Mark is getting ready for our interview. Let's take a look back at the highlights from this one. And frankly, Brad, most of them coming from the first half. And again, the first one, a good one for the boys in checkers.
A great serve by Jared, and then Aguilera just finds himself in this gap, this seam between two backs.
But then there was the first of what would be 2 penalties called against the Indy 11 tonight. This one goes against Sean Lewis. Steven Dos Santos draws it. Steven Dos Santos scores it to make it 1-1. We'll get the other highlights coming up in a matter of moments. We don't want to make Coach Lowry wait any further, so let's go to him right now. Mark, again, I know this is a process at this point. While the end result didn't go your way tonight, did you continue to see development in terms of the process for your club this evening?
I saw the plan work. I saw the system work. I saw players give the ball away, though. And I told them at half-time, I can't even think about that for them. If they can't do it, we'll have to find players that can. That's just the reality of sports. We win the ball back, we give it away. We win the ball back, we give it away. The plan's winning the ball back for them. Their works win the ball back for them. The efforts win the ball back for them. But when they get the ball back, they can't just give it away so easily. That was the story of the game. Tampa were better than us individually because they were able to control and pass the ball to each other with a bit of intensity and tempo. I thought we did some good things. A penalty and a corner are the goals, which is really disappointing. Tampa didn't create much, but neither did we, because we just didn't take care of the ball enough through midfield, and that's the reality of the game.
Another week and another guy we get to see make his debut in an Indy 11 uniform. In fact, two of them. Let's start with the defender. What'd you see from Jesus Vasquez?
He was brilliant. Him and Misha were so good tonight. Their distribution was fantastic. That wasn't a problem. It was when they got it into midfield, they got it up top, it was just turned over a little bit too easy. I thought Mishak and Jesus were absolutely brilliant tonight.
Yeah, we've seen it a little bit at the end of the Memphis game, and then tonight, Io and Hackshaw switching roles a little bit, moving Hack into the midfield and Io a little bit more on the back line. What's the thinking there, and do you see that as something that's going to persist through the season?
The thinking is we have to find a solution for the number 6 spot. That's the thinking. Unless we bring somebody in, we have to find solutions what we have here. I thought Hack was okay tonight. Hack did fine. I didn't think the 6 spot was the issue tonight. The centre-backs weren't the issue tonight. I thought Hack had a good game, actually. He could have been a little bit cleaner and a bit quicker with his passing. But off the ball, I thought he won a lot for us. He competed. He used his physical presence. And I thought Hack was fine tonight.
All right, you talked in previous conversations about how difficult it is to teach players and organizations to win. What is that next step? What do you see as the next button that needs to be pushed?
Players.
Simple as that. Mark, I know these are not fun after a tough loss. We appreciate you being a pro about it. We'll talk to you again next week. You got it. Mark Lowry joining us here on the post-game show. And again, obviously, some of the results starting to add up, and understandably so. There's only so much you can do from a schematic standpoint. Right. As we say in other sports, sometimes it's not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmys and the Joes, and that might be where this is at this point for the Indy 11.
Yeah, I tell you what, anybody that's going to watch the post-game show that's in that locker room right now is on notice.
Message sent.
Yes.
Correct. We're back to wrap it up next as you're watching the Central Indiana Honda Dealers post-game show presented by Bet Rivers here on Wish TV. Back for a final time this evening here in downtown Indianapolis, what turned into a beautiful night End result wasn't pretty, though, for the Indy 11. Again, still some work left to do against one of the better teams in the USL Championship, and they've got more teams of that ilk coming down the pike. Pittsburgh next weekend, Louisville and San Antonio later in terms of the month of August. We'll go over that full schedule in a matter of moments. Take a look at our stats from the conclusion of this one. Obviously, the stats that matter most was 3-1. And again, there is value to be put into that shots statement because this is a team that averages 19 shots a game, the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Possession, a little bit more balanced than you thought. And again, 2 of those 3 goals come on penalties that were called. So much as a week ago, you see some progress, but clearly not enough in certain areas for Mark Lowry's team.
Yeah, and there's only so many times that you can get behind that, hey, we scored today.
Right.
That's a positive.
Yeah.
Hey, we held a team that averages 19 shots to you can dance that dance a little bit, but at some point when it doesn't flip on the field, the players start tuning out.
Did you win or lose the game? The answer is
exactly.
no. The Indy 11 did not win the game in tonight's contest. So here is the upcoming schedule for the boys in blue as the calendar flips to August. It does not get any easier, especially here at home. Pittsburgh, 4th currently in the Eastern Conference. It is never a pleasure to play a Bob Lilly team. On July 6th, Indy lost at Highmark Stadium by 1-0. Then it is at Hartford, a team that Indy owns a win against on April the 30th. First of 2 matchups with FC Tulsa this season. You can see both of those on ESPN+. And then the top 2 teams in the West and East, respectively, Jordan Farr and San Antonio FC. Lou City for LIP AFC coming up on August 27th and August 31st, respectively. Brad, your final thoughts on this one?
Well, as daunting as that schedule looks when you're in a rut like this, that's what you need. You can't get yourself out of a funk by playing the bottom of the table. You have to play quality sides. You got to see who is there that's going to be there for you, who's going to be mentally tough enough to handle that challenge.
Frankly, long-term planning for the Indy 11 at this point, everything is a 1-game season. Next up is Pittsburgh next Saturday night. We'll hope you join us then on MyIndyTV and ESPN+. Thanks for watching Indy 11 Soccer. Good night from downtown Indy.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.